Welcome back. Getting back into the dating scene, maybe one of your resolutions for the new year. And here with some do's and don'ts of dating is Lisa Goodman, Vice President at Selective Search. Good morning to you. We're happy to have you back.
Tink you. Hey, top of the year. Always want to talk about dating.
Maybe you want to get back into it.
Correct.
I have to ask you, is online dating, is that still the way people are going, those apps and swiping?
I don't think we're ever going to see them disappear completely, but I will say things are trending towards taking a big break. There is real app fatigue out there, lots of swiping, lots of nonsense, lots of ghosting and texting for nothing. And so there's an exhaustion. So we're really seeing a little bit of trickling away from that and hoping for real life connection.
So Lisa, I told you that yesterday we were talking about how Gen Z primarily, I guess, is asking their parents to like step into their dating and use those apps and kind of swipe for them because they say mommy knows best.
Right.
Do you think that's a good idea?
Playing a little Cyrano? This is a yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no answer. It's twofold. And I think where it's coming from is the documentary on Taylor Swift, and guess who got involved with her love connection?
Okay.
Yes, Mama Swift did. So, can it work? Absolutely. Do parents know you well? Absolutely. But handing over your profile and letting them do the swiping, not so sure about that.
Okay, dating in general, what are some of the biggest green flags that you should look for in 2026?
The greenest of all, chemistry. Always the top of the list, right? Can't get any greener than that. Without that initial chemistry, there's just not going to be that second and third date. So be on the lookout. You know when there's chemistry. Second, consistency. So that's really a new trend. People want real consistency and intent in the person that they're seeing. Do they show up physically and emotionally? Also, speaking of emotional intelligence and emotional availability and maturity. No players. We're done playing games. Everyone's tired and too old for that. So think about it. Chemistry first, consistency, and just being emotionally there.
Maybe something I've heard on social media, you know, just with scrolling and stuff. I'm happily married, but, you know, people seem to be setting their expectations sooner, which I think is so healthy, and that's probably about emotional intelligence.
Sure.
But would you say, is that one of the first steps?
Yeah, and that's new. That's a newer trend over the last year or two. And it even has a term, clear coding. And it basically means sharing your intents. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, you're not going to show up on a first date and say, well, my goal is 5 kids in the next 5 years. That's a surefire way to end that relationship. But it is absolutely acceptable to state your goals and to say, you know, is marriage something that you're looking for? Kids, how about relocating, new job, going back to school? All of these things should be talked about sooner than later. You don't want to waste your time 6 months in.
You're right. Putting it out there, right?
Right,
setting those expectations. I think that's a good thing.
Being realistic.
I want to learn about Selective Search. You know, what do you all do there?
Yeah, Selective Search matchmaking, well, it's fun. We're headquartered right here in Chicago, but it is a global firm. So we help people all around the world find the love of their lives. And talk about trends. People are getting away from the apps, but they're leaning towards matchmaking, which, hey, I'm all for it. So matchmakers step in, we do the vetting for you. And it really cuts to the chase. We're only letting you spend your valuable time with people that we see you with potentially forever.
Lisa, I love those matchmaking shows.
Yeah.
Can you make one Chicago-based? I think that'd be really entertaining.
Sure.
Overall, for people who are maybe just getting started into dating, or 2026 is, you know, the start of what's been a long journey for them, what's your biggest piece of advice?
Biggest piece of advice is just say yes. Put yourself out there. You are not going to meet the love of your life if you're sitting at home alone watching TV, right? You've got to make yourself available and just see what happens. Say yes to that philanthropic event or that happy hour or brunch that maybe you would have said no to. Trust me, we all know, especially in Chicago, it's freezing cold out there, and you'd rather stay in than go out. But you have to put yourself out there and get friends and family involved. You mentioned parents and moms. People are really wanting their friends and family to introduce them to potentially somebody great.
I've also seen more people maybe, you know, when they're out with their family and friends, like approach that person. Whereas usually that's a space where you're like, I don't want to touch that because I'm with other people. But it's okay to ask for a number.
It's okay to ask, sure. Absolutely. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
Gotta
okay,
take
Lisa,
the shot.
Yeah, you're right. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
We appreciate your time.
Always
we'll have
here
you
for
later on in 2026 because hopefully it continues on. You find some luck. All right, we'll be right back with more Good Day Chicago right after this break.